Honestly, the first day I worked with you, I just remember thinking, man, I wish you'd been around sooner so I could be more relaxed. You turn up to the set and the level is...
This ship collected specimens. 5 new life forms from distant planets. Monsters.
Any day I was on the set, I had one of two, and many times both of these experiences. One, just the joy of working on a great material with wonderful actors. As vast as the world is in this thing, it's also grounded, that most of my memories are just great scenes. Just really great scenes, like doing character work.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was also this second experience where you showed up and there's a bunch of monsters on set, and you just feel like a child. You're just like reliving your childhood.
Yeah.
Also a joy.
We had so many, real life effects since Cameron Brown, our wonderful vegan xenomorph monster actor, was 8 foot tall in a full suit, and I mean that thing was every detail is on that suit. It's incredible, and it can breathe. It's got its drool mechanism. I mean, it was terrifying how detailed this thing was. So being able to work with with a xenomorph is incredible. I mean, really makes the job a lot easier, and it's scary, which is fun.
Cameron Brown was our xenomorph, New Zealander who's vegan. So it's hilarious. Someone was saying that you imagine the Xeno sitting in the corner having a cigarette. In our case, it was, hummus and carrot sticks.
He's the most softly spoken man I've ever met.
Gentle.
He's the gentlest man.
And then he puts on this suit and he just becomes something else. Like, he's massive and scary.
We used the whole gambit from a suit performer and some Weta technicians with a tail on fishing line to some animatronic face hugger elements, eggs, and then other creatures that were at this stage more of a prop than, for camera, deep background reference for the actors, etc., lighting. And then obviously there was a visual effects component that came in at the end to make it all real.
No tool was unused in this production.
Yeah.
It was quite extraordinary, some of the outdoor stuff, I thought. We went to part of Thailand called Krabi. I mean, it's kind of what you imagine when you think of Thailand, the beaches and the jungle. I also shot some outdoor stuff, which only we glimpsed briefly in the series, but that was really cool as well, actually, being on the streets in Bangkok, because it's the streets of Bangkok plus the production design. So like there's a sort of chaos that you're in the midst of. Yeah,
Thailand has this like kinetic energy to it, and it's so. I mean, it's hot and weather-wise, but it's such a warm space. The culture and the people are so kind and generous and incredibly hardworking, and they brought a pulse to this show and an energy that I feel like you can feel in the final piece too. Yeah, they were incredible.
And how sweaty we are all the time as well.
All of the time, yeah. There was a world where the hybrids weren't supposed to sweat, and we realized real quickly they're gonna sweat. Yeah. Or we don't have a show. They're gonna sweat. Yeah.
The xenomorph is always like most terrifying when it's like an enclosed dark space. How did you guys make sure that it stays terrifying even now on Earth and fighting like quite powerful synthetics?
Yeah, it's a question of how much of it you see, right? So much of what horror is your imagination, and if you see too much, it loses some of its mystique. So obviously, over the course of 8 hours, it's about balancing that anticipation of seeing it and the reality of seeing it and the sound design of it and just all those elements that add up to your experience of Alien that have to be used in a very calibrated way.
It has a real analog in terms of a musical component, not only literally, but it's like watching how Noah crafts these kinds of moments. It's like he is the master orchestrator and conductor, and it's really extraordinary, if not essential, to have somebody who has got that depth and breadth of command to be able to deliver a show like this.
We don't lock them down. It will be too late.
I really like running lines. I truly do. I really enjoy it. And other than some kind of little chit chat with Noah every now and then, we do talk about the material. It tends to be just conversations about how the material plays. But mostly I just memorize those lines and show up.
You know, I've heard you say this several times, but you know, you turn up on set and you're confident, playful, fearless, and it engenders that in you. Honestly, the first day I worked with you, and we wait a while before we get the opportunity,
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, man, I wish you'd been around sooner so I could be more relaxed. You know, you say that, but actually you turn up to the set and the level is, So.
Oh, that's very thoughtful.
No,
I
truly,
appreciate That's
truly,
very
yeah.
nice of you to say. But I was a joy to work with. This show could be just called Actors Kissing Ass.
Actors kissing each other's ass.
But, you know, it's just amazing. It's you don't come across as anything other than the same. You show up with so much swagger.
Thank you.
I mean,
inside I was
really?
I was looking to run away.
You show up, you're like a force.
Oh, dude.
You're a force.
If only. The voices.
For me, I was quite impulsive, and I read the first 3 scripts, and that morning I bought a flight to Canada, and I told my agent, I'm going to Canada. I think Noah Hawley is there. Do you think he'd let me?
Rock and roll.
Yeah, I asked if he'd let me take him to dinner and talk Alien. And for some reason, he said yes. For hours, we chatted and went home, did an audition process. I mean, the next 3 days was just, I remember driving down my parents' gravel road and getting a call for one more scene, just driving back, memorizing, going. So it was very instinctual, and then waited for what felt like ages. And then I got the phone call, and Noah just said, you got it. Yeah, and I found out he lived 5-10-minute walk from me in Austin. So Canada was fun, but could have just walked down the road. But it worked out.
I auditioned. I didn't actually know what it was. I think it was called Mr. October at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent a few tapes in, like self-tapes, and then I read again with the casting director.
You didn't know it was Alien?
I think someone was like, this is probably Alien.
Yeah.
They're like top secret, and then, all the agents kind of know anyway what projects are. I remember them being like, well, there's another actor who's playing Boy Cavalier who looks a lot like you. So anything you can do to sort of make yourself look a bit different. I like slicked my hair back. They're like, if you make your hair less sort of fluffy like Sam's. But actually I think in the end it's sort of beautiful that we're sort of almost physically each other's foil, like counterpoint.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I met Noah, we had a cup of tea, and then they were like, do you want to come to Thailand in like 3 weeks for 6 months? And then I was on a plane.
Well, I mean, Alien Earth really exists in somewhat of a contemporaneous period to the original, and I think that it wasn't only a clever choice, but it was an immensely beneficial one because it gave Noah the latitude to be able to originate the piece in a way that invited the existing audience in. They could recognize in the Maginot what they experienced on the Nostromo, and then gave him the opportunity to set off on an entirely new, fresh, and uniquely long-form type of narrative storytelling.
When you think about 100 years in the future, I mean, when I look back 100 years in the past, we still have buildings from 100 years ago. We still have elements. So what I tried to do was just to think 1 or 2 steps ahead of where we are now. Is it realistic to think that billionaires will become trillionaires, or that the earth will get hotter and wetter, or that corporations might gain more power over the globe? All those things seemed realistic to me. And part of setting the show in Bangkok, where we filmed, it's a skyline that most Western audiences aren't familiar with. It has the coastal elements that we needed, and so the future is really assembled from some never before seen elements of the present, and then some obviously extensions.